Okay, now I came back from the studio, and let me tell you something. I have to. It's only 1:30. I know some people probably drink soda any time of the day, but for me, I only drink a soda very rarely, like maybe once every 2 months. Like I used to drink them all the time, when I was younger, but now it's like not really my thing. But I had to drink me a Coke at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because, man, now I own the studio. Don't get me wrong, but Noelle runs it. And I hadn't been there for a bit, like running it. And this morning I had to because she had some stuff she had to do. And boom, just hammered. Like it was a bunch of people coming in, which is a great thing. And it's a blessing to have. But we dish up people's paint for them. And the paint's all out of order. Like it's perfect for her because she knows where things are and she can get them, grab them, pour it for folks. We pour people's paint for them to cut down on the whole sickness, right? Which I'm going to talk about later. But it makes sense for her. But if you're somebody else stepping in there trying to fill the role, bruh, it was rough. I was like, man, you need to organize this paint better than what you're doing. Because we have dozens of paints, and it's like trying to figure out which one. People are being patient, and we have really great customers, obviously. But man, she's like, it's easy. And I'm like, for you, back when I was running it all the time, I had a system set up. Now she's got her own system, and it makes sense for her, but it doesn't make sense for me. Anyway, you guys don't really care. Make sure you join the Discord down in the description box below. We talk about a lot of different things. Recently, people haven't been talking as much. We ebb and flow in our Discord, similar to how it is in everything in my life. Everything ebbs and flows. But hey, it works, and I'm happy with it. It's all good as long as there is an ebb and a flow, right? I just don't want there to be a lot of ebbing. Anyway, so is ebbing good or bad? I don't know. So, the sickness. Let's talk about that for a second because Washington State is a leader in a lot of things, right? It has the University of Washington, which is a big research facility. It's a research university, and it's a lot of great things that UW has. We have Microsoft based out of here, Amazon. We're really the tech capital of the United States. We even beat Silicon Valley now, which is crazy. But Seattle, Washington has topped Silicon Valley as being the biggest. Now, mainly this is due to Amazon because Amazon has a crap ton of square footage. Not only in Seattle, but in Bellevue. You add that together, nobody's going to be able to touch it. But if you look at, so they're counting Bellevue into that, but Seattle spanks the entire Silicon Valley. We're talking San Jose, San Francisco, Cupertino, all of those places. Just if you add them up, Seattle beats it, which is crazy because we have others beyond just the ones I mentioned. But we are so far behind when it comes to the whole effort in controlling the sickness. Now, a lot of that is due to leadership. Now, this is all politics, not business. Businesses know what they're doing. And I've said this before that governments typically don't know what they're doing. Now, when you look at the Biden administration, they've been doing really, really good. I'm not trying to make it into politics, but it's not there. And it's not the distribution to get here. It is the governor's just slow. And maybe it's not even so much him as much now. It's some of these, the lower level. Getting the vaccine is hard. I mentioned I went to get the vaccine because I got a notice that I'm able to get it because they opened it up to the very old and those who are in settings that makes them very vulnerable. And so they went down the line and finally they got to me, right? And because it's funny, I'm too young for certain things, but too old for others. It's just I'm in that medium spot, right? And this is one of those where I was too young. So I go to the stupid pharmacy. I went to Walgreens, and this pharmacist, she just kept on like asking me. Now, it was an Asian lady. Guy in front of me was a white dude about my age or age range. He had to be, you could just tell, we've been through some stuff. You could just look at a guy and be like, yeah, you're in your 40s. She didn't ask him one question other than which arm do you want it in? And he was like, it doesn't matter. They're both going to hurt. I get up there, I could ask every question under the sun, like, can I see, well, for one, they asked to see your ID. They asked him that too. I showed my code because you know how people are, especially if there's a bruh walking up. And if a bruh man walks up to get something, they're going to always ask you 50 questions. It doesn't matter who's behind that booth. They're going to ask you 50 questions. So it doesn't matter how much proof you have or whatever. So I go up there, I show them the little email that I got that showed my code, showed my name. She already done seen all that. Still asking questions. Well, how come you're getting it? Because you have to be one of those, you have to fall into a category of a condition, right? Even though we're behind, like Washington State's behind in general in terms of the vaccine rollout of where we should be. And for two, Pierce County, which is in Tacoma, is by far behind where they're supposed to be. So if anything, you should be saying, come on, I'm happy you're here. Nope. Well, which one of these preconditions you fit? I said, I'm overweight, which is true. So, when you look at me, you're like, nah. But 6 foot tall, the weight that I am, little scale, the little thingy tells me that I am. So that's what I put. I go by the BMI that everybody's talking about, even though that's bogus. I didn't set it. So I told her that. And, she's just very like being a big time B is what she was. It's like, just do your job. If I have a code and I have my name, you've seen it, you've seen everything else, shut up and just do the shot. That's all you're supposed to do, period. You're not supposed to be asking any of these other questions. It's none of your business. You're not a doctor. You're a pharmacist. And yes, you're able to inject people, but as long as everything checks out, full stop. That's how I felt. But you have people like that get in the way, and that slows down the recovery. People point at all of the folks who are going out here and gathering and all of this other stuff, and they're accelerating the thing. And I get that. People should wear their mask. I have all types of little masks. I have this one. I have this one. I have this one. I have so many different types of masks. I have others. Got a big old box over here. And after a while, I have a bundle right here. Big old bundle. And after a while, people get tired of being stuck. And people say, just give it a little bit more time, give it a little bit more time. But you got to understand something. Washington State was one of the first states to get hit by all of this, if not the first. And ever since then, people have been sheltered in place, mostly. And you're asking them to continue to not get the vaccine yet because, some people that are in the way, like the pharmacist lady, or because the governor's dragging his feet and making sure that they're, it's like, first you got to have 15 different conditions. If you got at least 5 conditions wrong with you, then you can go get the shot. And I'm not trying to make light of it. And I understand there are people who need it. I get that. But when you're behind and you're wanting to get the economy going back again, you don't have time to sit here and split hairs 5 different ways to make sure people are getting vaccinated. Whenever other states who Washingtonians make fun of are well ahead of us. Like people 16 years old are like, yeah, I went and got my shot. It's like, what? We're still vaccinating seniors here. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's just stupid. The way that it has been handled, it's backwards, it's dumb. You have people who have a little bit too much power and they don't know what they're doing. Other places that have less infrastructure, less capabilities, are doing by far better than what we've done up here in Washington. I even had my sister-in-law and brother-in-law in Ohio was like, really? You guys are just now like, you guys aren't at this level? Yeah, Ohio was, they've already done started vaccinating people younger than me. But nonetheless, I was able to get vaccinated about a week ago. Finally, after I had to pretty much almost beg that lady, look, take a look at my stuff. Look at all my pertinence. This is who I am. Give me my thing. So I got my little vaccine card right there. Haven't laminated it yet because even in Discord, we were talking about how there may be boosters required. This thing may only be good for a few months anyway. Who knows, right? But I'm ready to kind of get going again. I want to be able to kind of be around people a little bit without having to freak out. Now, there is a big caveat because there's a lot of people that won't get this shot. Doesn't matter what you do. Some of this is due to conspiracy theory. Some of this is due to lack of education. Some of this is due to fear. Some of this is due to past experiences. It may be due to a lot of things, right? I don't care. And I'm going to have people who say, well, I don't want, because there is a place here called Vashon Island, where there's a big population of people that haven't gotten vaccinated for a lot of other regular things. And so that's been the big rub, right? Was that, there's things coming back that shouldn't be because people aren't getting vaccinated for certain things, right? Whatever your beliefs are, whatever. However, I do think that the greater good is what always should count. I have relatives who say they would never get the vaccines either. And I'll say this is exactly to them too. So it's not like I'm just, cherry picking. I'll say to anybody, I have people who are very closely related to me that won't get it done. And they think it's silly and I'm not taking a trip. You shouldn't. They were like, I'm not going overseas. If I have to get a vaccine passport, I'm not going overseas. Well, good. You don't need to. You need to stay where you are because you are part of the problem. Sorry, you're a big part of the problem. If an employer says, look, in order to come back to work, you need to have this little card, which I'll show the back of it. How about that? You got to have this little card in order for you to come back in. You got to have this card. And you say, nah, then you deserve to no longer be working there, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Because for the greater good of everybody else there, that employer has the right to basically say, look, we want to make sure that we don't have to shut down again. We want to be able to, people want to be able to work. This isn't just about you. If you want you to not get a shot, that's cool. Step over to the side and let somebody else fill your position and allow them to work. Same thing with travel. If there's certain states that eventually will say, look, in order to enter the state through an airport, you have to have one of these cards, Sadate. If sporting events or whatever, you have to show that you have proof of vaccination, Sadate. That's their right. Just like it's your right to say, I don't want to get the vaccine or whatever. Totally cool. Nobody cares. That's your thing. But other places and international locations have a right to deny you entry. That's their overall right. And so I think that when it comes to school, when it comes to a lot of things, if you aren't vaccinated, you shouldn't be going to school. Now, some people will disagree, and that's cool. But you're basically risking other people. Just like I mentioned, there's certain shots that people have that you never have to worry about. Like, for example, my kids don't have to worry about chicken pox. I had chicken pox when I was a kid. They don't even know what that is. Polio, other things. Like I didn't have to worry about that either because by the time I came around, there were shots and stuff for that. Measles, didn't have to worry about that. And mumps and rubella, I'm like, what's all that stuff? Got all those shots, right? There were people back in the day that this was going on and they ended up getting those things. Well, there's vaccines against that, but there are some people saying, nah, I don't trust that. There's going to be something in there. There's a chip or there's a something or there. whatever. They think there's an alien, it's alien juice or whatever they want to think. And that's their prerogative. That's their right to believe whatever they want to believe, right? I believe that. You can believe however you want to believe. Doesn't mean it's correct. I went over this again. It doesn't mean that your thought and your belief is correct or accurate, but you have a right to believe what you want to believe. However, I don't think that you have the right to interact with the public at large if you don't have these certain vaccines, because there are people getting sick over things that should be pretty much eradicated in this country, but they're coming back because their mama and daddy didn't get vaccinated, and then the kids don't get vaccinated, and then crap pops up. And then other people who, are cool and fine are getting stuff that they shouldn't be getting. And it's just, to me, I think personally, you have that prerogative. And I've learned that you cannot convince an adult of anything. I don't waste my time on it. You have some people that are just going to believe what they want to believe. But on the same token, I think that overall, society has a right to say, I won't be able to allow you to do such and such and this and that and whatever. For us as a business, I'm not going to necessarily require people to have a card to come in, but for a while, there will be the need to wear a mask, right? So even if there comes a point in time when, things are cool, as long as there's a state mandate that says you have to wear a mask, people are going to have to wear a mask. That's the way we're going to do it. Now, as far as needing a card or some sort of vaccine or shot record to come into our studio, that's not going to be what we're going to do. But we also are not a crowded airplane. You know what I mean? We're not a fragile economy someplace that has 3 hospitals for every million people. You know what I mean? Like, we're not like that. So it's different. But anyhow, let me know what your thoughts are on it. Because somebody asked me what my thoughts are. Why is it expanding? Because right now there's more. It's escalating here because people are tired of being cooped up. And it's taken so long to get the vaccine. So people are going to house parties, different things like that. And so it's increasing. People are tired of it. So anyhow, make sure you join the Discord down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Until next time, I will see you. Take care.